Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of On the Paint Table. It's my weekly show about what I'm working on, what I got painted, and what is coming up. So, this week we had a big project. I got really excited about ninjas and samurais. I have some games coming up tomorrow, actually, for Bushido. And I picked up a whole bunch of stuff at Adepticon. I bought all the Kage, Kaze, Zuko? I'm never gonna KKZ. Stuff that they had. So 8 out of the, I think there's 10 models now. There's two, like the 2 plebs I'm missing, the 2 trainees. It's Wamu and Izu something. I'm missing those 2. The guy with the bow and the hand-to-hand girl. But I painted all of the remaining ninjas that I didn't paint last week. I painted up this week, which was 6 more ninjas, and then I painted up 2 more models, which aren't really Edo models. They're actually like the sort of like mercenary add-ons, the Silvermoon guys, and it's a Imperial Envoy and a Golden Sentinel, which is like his bodyguard. And they kind of act as a pair, and they're like 16 rice to bring in, but it takes my Edo clan up to 50 rice and like an interesting 50 rice. So I have 2 full-sized warbands now for Bushido, and I also plowed through and built a bunch of terrain. Bushido's a game that requires some scenario stuff. There's zones to control, and there's also 30mm objective markers. And I didn't want to just use counters in the videos because it's such an intimate table. It's a 24-inch square. I built out some custom zones. You'll see them in a second. And I also went and got some more Plastcraft terrain because I realized what I was doing before the torii gates and the lanterns was I was kind of dressing up my like generic outdoorsy scenery to make it look a little more Bushido-y. And now I actually have like a Bushido-y table. So as opposed to just having some gates and some lanterns, some garden lanterns, that made it look a little bit more Bushido-y, now I have like a full, like, I have some options. I can put some stuff on the table and it'll all look different every time. Selection of Bushido stuff. And again, it's from Plastcraft, so it's ready to go to the box, just glue it together. But I did the little bit extra that I always do, and I was just weathering and just making it look a little more finished. I use, and you guys will see this when you see them, but I use Sharpies, different colored Sharpies to finish the edges on everything, because it is, what's it called, foam PVC. So you can get an off-color edge to what the print is on the one side sometimes. And then I also used my favorite color, and I'll just say it now so you guys can hear it. It's golden, high flow, burnt umber. That's the weathering color. If you ever want something to put through your airbrush that you can buy in mass at like a craft store like Michael's, golden high flow burnt umber is your friend, and it'll put that great sort of like old age look on pretty much anything. And that's it. So yeah, I'll show you what I got painted, and I'll show you what's coming up. So let's look at finished stuff first. Here is the rest of my KKZ that I got painted. It's Katsumi up front with Yuto there with the climbing rope next to him. Then I've got Rin back here. Shizuka with her size. That's Kiru, which is Kue, which is another one of the ninjas. He's got this cool like katana and throwing knives and stuff. He's the rapid fire guy. And this is apparently an event only Biku. There's a Biku model for the Prefecture of Ryu, and there's an event version, which of course, because I picked this up at Adepticon, I didn't actually realize I was buying. But I was trying to like find her card online and I couldn't, and that's because it's only available through events. They make it available online too during the events and stuff, but it's a cool resculpt. It's an alternate Biku. Who's normally a prefecture girl, and she fights with the KKZ. So that's the clan basically finished, the Ninja Assassin clan, and I have 50 rice. I went and ordered the upgrade cards. I did manage to find them online in Canada, which this is my big struggle right now, is there's only one place to buy this stuff in Canada, and it's completely out of stock on most stuff. Like it hasn't had starter sets since they brought it in, basically. So it's been hard to find opponents to play this game because there's no distributor in Canada, and the one place, like the one online store that's ordering it, hasn't really had their stuff restocked. And then, so this is the Golden Sentinel, who's a bodyguard from the Emperor, and then the Imperial Envoy, who's like a diplomat. So he looks pretty fighty, but he's not really fighty. Like that sword's kind of ceremonial. His thing is that he messes up other people's like objective plays and stuff. He has an aura where like once per game, guys just can't count for objectives, so I can just totally hose somebody and buy you a turn. So he's pretty neat, and they work together. The Sentinel gets better when he's nearby the Envoy, because all of his like pledges and duties and stuff like kick in, and he becomes a better fighter, and he won't run away and stuff too. And super fun models to paint, and they've just been based in the same scheme as my Ito clan. They also fight for the Prefecture though, and the Silvermoon Syndicate, so you can have them in all 3 of those armies, which means that they're like a good little basis if I want a faction jump later on. Although I do have 2 completed factions, which is getting to the point where now I can actually show people how to play. And I'm hoping that'll encourage some store owners to bring the product in. And here we go for some terrain. So these are my objective zones. This is, again, it's actually Plastcraft. It's the same company that makes this terrain. They sell a textured plastic card, and then it's some old CDs. So, whoop, old gamer trick. There you go. Roughed up. I actually sand them before I glue anything to them to make the surface actually like take paint. And then these are 4-inch diameter cut wooden plastic card glued onto the 5-inch CDs, and then just sanded, painted, dry brushed, and marked. And they're training circles. So the idea is here, my next piece is a dojo, and the training circles will sit outside the dojo. And the dojo actually sits on top of this platform, or off, up to you. You can do either way. I think it looks cool both ways. It has like a little bunch of these sort of like separate fences, and this little ledge that you move around, and then a farmhouse. And the farmhouse has, again, a separate little pen that you can detach or attach. It's pretty cool. Like, they're all 3D. Like, they have like divots and stuff in them. Everything's cut out in 3D. And then what I do is, you can see down here and all on the top edge of this, that's brown Sharpie that I use just to color it in to make it match, or it would be like stark white. And then all that speckling and stuff that's kind of like blending everything together is my airbrush, and some of that great what is it, golden high flow burnt umber, which is, or maybe raw umber. It's one of those two. Either one will really work. It's like a nice dark brown, neutral brown. Yeah, and again, this is on a 2-foot board, so like, I probably won't use all of this all the time. This is a lot of terrain for a 2-foot table when you start adding in trees and rocks and ponds, and then all the torii gates that I have, and the lanterns and all that stuff too. So, good bit of stuff accomplished. I'm going to count this as 1, 2, 3, 4 with the accessories piece of terrain for my painting pledge for this year, and then I got through another 8 miniatures. Upcoming stuff is the only stuff I have left unpainted right now for Bushido, and it's the 2 Okyo Ashigaru, and I think his name is Jiru. He's the Ashigaru bannerman from my Edo clan. And they're actually a lot of points. They're only 14 points for the bunch of them, because the Ashigaru are garbage. They're 4 rice. And they only get better if they're nearby a friend. And then he has Inspire, which he can spend his key points to make them slightly less garbage. Which is like, but it only, his power to inspire only works on guys who cost less than he does, and he costs 6 rice. So like, he's not inspiring anybody else. He's not inspiring Itsunagi. Itsunagi's just like, whatever, you work for me, you're a scrub. So if I do take them, I'm likely taking all 3. And he'd actually be good with the Okyo Archer, because the Okyo Archer, he can make his shoot value better, which would actually be worth it. But these guys are just there to like hold buttons and stand and die. So apart from those Edo miniatures, I also have my whole army for Immortals for the Cool Mini or Not Expo that I have to paint. I did finish the airbrushing on them and their bases, so like, really, it's only 14 models. I'm gonna try and get half of them done next week, and then the other half done the week after. I'm pretty sure I can do it. I have other things to paint between now and then too, but I can just peg away at them. I'm gonna get a bunch of them done this weekend, hopefully. Maybe tomorrow night I'll start cracking away on it. But yeah, no, my plan to never have having played with that army before I go to the Immortals tournament is going very well. As is tradition. So yeah, so check it out next week on Saturday. You'll get to see what I got done and see what else is coming up. We're getting a crunch time now for Cool Mini Expo, and I do have some models I want to paint for my werewolves and stuff too. Wrath of Kings. It's 2 weeks away. Yeah, I got some work to do. Anyway, we'll see you next week for more of this. Till then, Ash. Happy gaming.